to the U.S. Department of Education's Office of Migrant Education's pre-application webinar for the fiscal year 2025 High School Equivalency Program, or HEP, and College Assistance Migrant Program, or CAMP competitions. I'm Millie Bentley Mammon, Group Leader for HEP and CAMP in the Office of Migrant Education at the U.S. Department of Education, and I'm very pleased to be joined by Dylan Hart-Medina, HEP CAMP Team Lead, Jessica Stein, HEP and CAMP Program Officer, and Katrina Ballard, Office of Migrant Education, Subject Matter Expert on Data and Evaluation. Before we dive in, a word of caution about this webinar. This webinar is a review of some items in the Notice Inviting Applications, or NIAs, and application packages, but not all of the information will be covered. This webinar will not focus on specific application submission instructions, so please be sure to read the common instructions for applicants on the page. Also, I cannot overemphasize how important it is to read the complete Notice Inviting Application, application package, application submission instructions, and all other references or related statutes, regulations, instructions, etc. We also want to emphasize and encourage you to start your application early to avoid any submission issues. Please note that the best way to get help with the actual submission of your application and work on grants.gov is to go directly to the source. Please call this number or email this mailbox with any grants.gov questions or issues. The hours of operation for grants.gov are listed on this slide. This presentation will be posted on the HEP and CAMP application pages. Further, if you have any questions regarding the webinar or any other competition-related questions, please email the mailbox at hepcampfy25@ed.gov. Here are the sections of the Notice Inviting Applications. Funding opportunity numbers. Although you can find the grant by doing a keyword search in grants.gov on migrant, the more direct route is to search by the funding opportunity number. The funding opportunity number for each page is listed on this slide. The funding opportunity for each program is listed on this slide. Application submission deadline. The application deadline will be November 13th, 2024 at 11:59 p.m. EST. Please note that there are no exceptions to this deadline, so please submit applications early to account for any unexpected delays or issues. Let's begin with the foundation of our work, which is our office's mission. The mission of the Office of Migrant Education is to provide excellent leadership, technical assistance, and financial support to improve the educational opportunities and academic success of migratory children, youth, agricultural workers, fishers, and their families. This slide shows the purposes of HEP and CAMP. CAMP is designed to assist migratory or seasonal farm workers or immediate family members of such workers who are enrolled or who are admitted for enrollment on a full-time basis at an institution of higher education, or IHE, to complete their first academic year. HEP is designed to assist migratory or seasonal farm workers or immediate family members of such workers to obtain the equivalent of a secondary school diploma and subsequently to gain improved employment, enter military service, or be placed in an institution of higher education or other post-secondary education or training. The authorizing legislation is shown on this slide. Please note that more information on the text of the CAMP and HEP sections of the Higher Education Act and the corresponding program regulations can be found in the Notice Inviting Applications and application packages. The OMB guidance for federal financial assistance, which was formerly called Office of Management and Budget Guidance for Grants and Agreements, amends to CFR Part 200 effective October 1st, 2024. HEP and CAMP applicants should follow the requirements in the updated 2 CFR Part 200. For more information about these updated regulations, please visit the website on this slide. Next, I'll turn it over to Dylan Hart-Medina, HEP and CAMP team lead.
Thank you, Millie. Estimated award amounts. The administration has requested $6,650,000 for new awards for HEP for fiscal year 2025 and $5,225,000 for new awards for CAMP for fiscal year 2025. The actual level of funding, if any, depends on final congressional action. However, we are inviting applications to allow enough time to complete the grant process if Congress appropriates funds for this program. The range of awards for both HEP and CAMP are $180,000 to $475,000. The minimum award for each year of each grant is $180,000. The estimated awards for CAMP is 11, and the estimated awards for HEP is 14. Minimum and maximum award reminders. Make sure your application reflects a budget of at least $180,000 minimum in all 5 project years. The department will not make an award for less than the amount of $180,000 for a single budget period of 12 months. Please be aware of the maximum award amount of $475,000 in each of the 5 project years. If you go over this maximum, your application may be removed from the competition. Now, the department may reject any application that does not propose a 5-year project as indicated by the submitted budget information on the Ed 524 form. Eligible entities. Who is eligible to participate as a grantee? The eligible entities include an institution of higher education, or an IHE, or a private nonprofit organization. Each may apply for a grant to operate a HEP or CAMP project. If a private nonprofit organization other than an IHE applies for a HEP or CAMP grant, that agency must plan the project in cooperation with an IHE and must propose to operate the project, or in the case of a HEP grant, some aspects of the project with the facilities of that IHE. The HEP has 1 competitive preference priority and 2 invitational priorities. The competitive preference priority is consideration of prior experience, which is up to 15 points. 1 invitational priority for promoting multilingualism to equip participants with language skills necessary to thrive in a globalized world, and 1 invitational priority for meeting students' social, emotional, and academic needs. A CAMP has 1 competitive preference priority and 2 invitational priorities. The competitive preference priority is consideration of prior experience, up to 15 points. 1 invitational priority for promoting multilingualism to equip participants with language skills necessary to thrive in a globalized world, and 1 invitational priority for meeting students' social, emotional, and academic needs. Just a note on the competitive preference priority for consideration of prior experience points. Now, these points are awarded by the department based on the grantee's prior performance as determined by relevant data already collected by the department. Applicants are not asked to respond to the competitive preference priority consideration of prior experience. However, if applicants would like to include information about their prior experience implementing a HEP or CAMP grant, they may do so under the abstract section, the project design section of the application, or other section of the project narrative as the applicant sees fit. How the department evaluates the HEP competitive priority for prior experience. The Secretary will consider the applicant's prior experience in implementing its expiring HEP project with respect to whether the applicant served the number of participants described in its approved application, the extent to which the applicant met or exceeded its funded objectives with regard to project participants, including the targeted number and percentage of participants who received a General Educational Development Credential, GED, and GED credential recipients who were reported as entering post-secondary education programs, career positions, or the military, and the extent to which the applicant met administrative requirements, including record keeping, reporting, and financial accountability under the terms of the previously funded award. One additional note on the HEP competitive preference priority is that although regulations refer to General Education Development, or GED credentials, the department recognizes that there are multiple examinations through which high school equivalency, HSE, can be earned, and for the purposes of this notice, uses GED interchangeably with HSE. HEP invitational priority for promoting multilingualism to equip participants with language skills necessary to thrive in a globalized world. Within a project designed to assist HEP participants obtain the equivalent of a secondary school diploma, we invite projects that recognize and increase awareness of the benefits of proficiency in more than one language to help participants attain good jobs that provide a living wage, access to full benefits, and equitable opportunities for advancement. How the department evaluates the CAMP competitive priority for prior experience. The Secretary will consider the applicant's prior experience in implementing its expiring CAMP project with respect to whether the applicant served the number of participants described in its approved application, the extent to which the applicant met or exceeded its funded objectives with regard to project participants, including the targeted number and percentage of participants who successfully completed the first year of college and continued to be enrolled in post-secondary education after completing their first year of college, and the extent to which the applicant met administrative requirements, including record keeping, reporting, and financial accountability under the terms of the previously funded award. A CAMP invitational priority for promoting multilingualism to equip participants with language skills necessary to thrive in a globalized world. Within a project designed to assist CAMP participants to complete their first academic year at an IAG, we invite projects that do one or both of the following. A, encourage the development of language skills and proficiency in an additional language, recognizing the cognitive, economic, and cultural benefits of multilingualism. B, encourage and support CAMP participants, especially participants who have attained a seal of biliteracy, to explore careers in which there is a high demand for bilingual and multilingual professionals, with the intention that participants will attain good jobs that provide a competitive wage, access to family-sustaining benefits, and equitable opportunities for advancement. The HEP and CAMP invitational priority, meeting students' social, emotional, and academic needs. Within a project designed to assist HEP or CAMP students, we invite projects that are designed to improve students' social, emotional, academic, and career development through one or both of the following. A, creating a positive, inclusive, and identity-safe climate at IHEs through fostering a sense of belonging and inclusion for students who are migratory or seasonal farm workers or immediate family members of such workers. B, fostering partnerships, including across government agencies, local education agencies, community-based organizations, adult learning providers, and post-secondary institutions to provide comprehensive services to students who are migratory or seasonal farm workers or immediate family members of such workers, and their families that support students' social, emotional, mental health, and academic needs, and that are inclusive with regard to race, ethnicity, culture, language, and disability status. Application submission. Applicants are required to follow the common instructions for applicants to the Department of Education discretionary grant programs. This is published in the Federal Register on December 7th, 2022, and available at the link on the slide. Applicants are also required to follow 34 CFR Section 206 that states what must be included in an application. Those requirements are also available at the link on this page. Application requirements. Applicants must provide a management plan that provides assurances that the staff has a demonstrated knowledge of and will be sensitive to the unique characteristics and needs of the migrant and seasonal farm worker population. Must also provide a management plan that provides provisions for staff in-service training, training and technical assistance, staff travel, student travel, agency coordination, and project evaluation. Application requirements with additional assurances. Applicants must provide assurance that the grantee will develop and implement a plan for identifying, informing, and recruiting eligible participants who are most in need of the academic and supporting services and financial assistance provided by the project, and additional assurances that the grantee will develop and implement a plan for identifying and using the resources of the participating IHE and the community to supplement and enhance the services provided by the project. Now at this time, I'll turn it over to Jessica Stein.
Thank you, Dylan. Now we will review the program performance targets for HEP. The program performance measure 1 target is 69%. This is the percentage of HEP participants exiting the program having received a high school equivalency known as an HSE diploma. The program performance measure 2 target is 80%. This is the percentage of HSE diploma recipients who enter post-secondary education or training programs, upgraded employment, or the military. Next, we will review the program performance targets for CAMP. The program performance measure 1 target is 86%. This is the percentage of CAMP participants completing the first academic year of their post-secondary program. The program performance measure 2 target is 92%. This is the percentage of CAMP participants who, after completing the first academic year of college, continue their post-secondary education. Next, we will review the project objectives. Program performance measures are core objectives that apply to all grantees, and applicants must propose annual targets for these measures and establish annual student enrollment targets. Projects may also establish their own goals within the scope of the program's authorizing legislation and regulations. Program performance measures may not address all the needs that you have identified for your project. There is no minimum or maximum for the number of project objectives you propose. However, you need to be mindful that you will be in competition with others and that you will be held to everything you propose. Next, we will review the selection criteria. Selection criteria determines the order and organization of the project narrative. The quality of the content is key. However, errors in grammar and spelling may obscure your content. Readers will use the information contained within all sections of the application to award points for relevant selection criteria responses. Next, I will add a note on selection criteria. The department published updates to the Education Department General Administrative Regulations, known as EDGAR, including updates to selection criteria found in 34 CFR 75.210, which will become effective September 30th of 2024. However, the selection criteria that apply to these competitions are the ones in effect on the date of publication of the NIA and are found in the NIA. The selection criteria for FY 2025 HEP and CAMP will not be reflective of the updated EDGAR selection criteria. Next, we will review the organization of the project narrative. This is based on the 6 selection criteria, which include the need for the project, 10 points, the quality of the project design, 24 points, the quality of project services, 24 points, the quality of project personnel, 10 points, the adequacy of resources, 12 points, and the quality of the project evaluation, 20 points. The total points possible for the selection criteria are 100. Your project narrative should be organized in this way, and you must all address all sub-criteria in the corresponding criteria. Please remember that information submitted in response to the scoring criteria should be specific to your community and should not be identical or substantially similar to other applications. Identical or substantially similar applications are not responsive to the scoring criteria. Finally, applicants are free to interpret all of the selection criteria as you see fit, but within the context of the statute and regulations and purpose of the programs. Next, we will review the need for the project. In determining the need for the proposed project, the Secretary considers the magnitude of the need for the services to be provided or the activities to be carried out by the proposed project for up to 10 points. One important note for this section is that magnitude of need does not necessarily mean pure numbers. In other words, a project proposing to serve 100 students may not necessarily score higher than a project proposing to serve 50 if the second project adequately describes the magnitude of need in the context of that project. Next, we will review the quality of the project design. This is the extent to which the goals, objectives, and outcomes to be achieved by the proposed project are clearly specified and measurable for up to 7 points. The extent to which the design of the proposed project is appropriate to and will successfully address the needs of the target population or other identified needs for up to 5 points. The extent to which the proposed project will establish linkages with other appropriate agencies and organizations providing services to the target population for up to 5 points, and the extent to which the proposed project demonstrates a rationale for up to 7 points. Next, we will review demonstrates a rationale. Demonstrates a rationale means a key project component included in the project's logic model is informed by research or evaluation findings that suggest the project component is likely to improve relevant outcomes. Project component is an activity, strategy, intervention, process, product, practice, or policy included in a project For example, tutoring, counseling, advising, health services, housing assistance, and student stipends. A relevant outcome is the student's outcomes or other outcomes the key component is designed to improve, consistent with the specific goals of the program. Next, I will turn it over to Katrina Ballard.
Thanks, Jessica. So what is a logic model? Logic model, also referred to as a theory of action, means a framework that identifies key project components of the proposed project, essentially the active ingredients